Hi, I'm Terry Naturally,
And I'm Dr. Lynn Wagner.
and I have over 50 years of experience and knowledge in health and nutrition.
And I'm a medical doctor with a passion for holistic health. We come together to offer you unique viewpoints and expertise as health advocates around topics that deal with today's health concerns.
And always for your good health. So let's get into today's topic.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I feel just fantastic.
Good to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
After the holidays and
Yes.
all of our adventures.
Yeah.
Getting back into the rhythm of life, right?
Yep. I just got back from a kind of a whirlwind trip to Arizona, the Grand Canyon and
Amazing.
Sedona and Scottsdale, and 5 below zero in the Grand Canyon.
Really?
Yeah, and snow on the ground. Yeah, it was winter in the Grand Canyon.
Amazing.
It was beautiful though, because actually the intersection of the cliffs of the Grand Canyon had snow tops. And
Oh, that's cool.
we took a helicopter ride over the top of the Grand Canyon. It was unbelievable.
Amazing.
It was amazing.
So now we're back in Green Bay with 12-degree weather, 15-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah. But that's
Wonderful.
That's where we are,
Exactly,
Green Bay.
right. So I think we were going to talk about a couple of our experiences with alternative healers today, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. I think they're very necessary.
I do too.
But I think there's some things you have to really realize about your practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
I go to chiropractors. I've gone to acupuncturists. I do a posture therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Energy healing. You can do all kinds of things.
Right.
And you do too. What do you like?
Well, I think, I was sharing with you before, my experience and my exposure to alternative healers came late in life for me. I mean, not late, but late in my career. So I was already a practicing physician. And as I shared with you, at that point in my life, I thought chiropractors were quacks, literally.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're kind of trained in medicine. Not anymore. It's gotten a lot better, but that was, a while ago. And I roundabout way started seeing a kinesiologist, energy healer type person, which isn't a chiropractor, but it's in that alternative realm of healers.
Why'd you start there?
Because it was the spouse of my trainer, my athletic trainer.
Okay.
And so I trusted that
That's
person.
one big thing.
Yeah, and
For
so
anybody.
So I was referred, and I trusted that person. And the first couple experiences, I was like, this is super weird. But then it was almost like a domino effect, where these really good things started happening with my health after. And it was just mind-opening and eye-opening, because it was like, there's more to health than Western medicine.
Mm-hmm. But how was it for you to make that jump? Because you were trained conventional medicine, a Western practitioner, med school.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're brainwashed when you come out of.
It's like the military.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. You're disciplined.
Right. You have to be.
Oh yeah.
So
For medicine,
you
you
need
have
those
to be.
skills to do what you need to do, especially as an emergency physician.
Right.
But it also takes away some of the beauty of being accepting of other things.
So how did you make that break? How did you make that jump?
I had to.
Why?
Because if I didn't, I was going to be going down a path of misery.
For yourself?
Yes.
I mean, personally?
Yes.
Yes. What?
Because
I think you mentioned was depression.
It was depression, yeah. And if I had stayed on my traditional path, where it was, oh, you feel depressed, take this drug, take Prozac, take Zoloft. Oh, you can't sleep now, take Ambien.
It's such a drug world.
They don't work. I mean, they stop working after a while, and then you need higher doses, and then you need multi-med therapy, and then you're dead. You feel numb and dead because you don't feel anything anymore. So that would have been my trajectory.
Yeah, you're taking cocktail medicine.
And I'm not saying those drugs are bad. I literally prescribed them to 2 people this week because they needed them, right? They needed them as a bridge. So I'm not saying
But
those drugs are bad.
You're going to watch the bridge.
Exactly, right. We're going to get them to another place. But for me, if I hadn't done and I'm not saying that the energy healing was the only thing that helped me, but it was my entrance. We all have those awakening moments.
Right.
So for me, it was just this like rubbing the fog off my eyes. There's a different way to live life. Not the way I was trained to live it. So I don't have to live this life that I was trained to live. I'm going to live the life that I'm meant to live.
Right.
Right? Which I get very spiritual about that, as I know you do as well. So that was my experience. And then I almost got a little addicted to it, like whereas I was seeing multiple different types of alternative healers. So I tried acupuncture. I tried multiple energy healers. I even went so far as going to psychics, which I don't do that anymore from a religious perspective. But I tried a bunch of different stuff, and it's helped me kind of learn how to navigate that world a little bit, because it is a different world. There's less licensure, and there's less you have to be a little careful with it.
We do, very much so.
Just as you have to be careful with doctors.
I don't have any license of any kind, and I could call myself a naturopathic doctor.
Yeah, for sure. Right. So, and you have millions of people who listen to you and follow your advice.
Right.
Right.
Right. I hope they do trust it, because I do give an honest answer. But I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to ever tell somebody I'm a naturopathic doctor. I used to have ND behind my name, and ND meant no doctor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So what about you? You shared a similar experience with somewhat of an alternative healer just recently.
I would try anything if first of all, I do a little research before I do that.
Yep.
But I've gone through acupuncture. I've gone through chiropractics, and I do really like chiropractors. But it's getting to know the practitioner and how well they are. In fact, we found a practitioner of chiropractics in Kansas City, and we'd fly out there every few months just to go see him. He was a phenomenal physician, and we got tremendous results. My family experienced unusual and wonderful experiences.
Yep.
So that is great. That is fantastic. But then you got to watch who you are going to. If you don't really feel that you trust the practitioner, or you're not even in tune with them,
right?
You have to like the practitioner.
I 100% agree.
That creates belief, trust.
Right.
So you can really have a better experience.
Yeah, and I would go ahead.
But I also just recently came into contact with somebody in Florida that I really enjoyed very much, a posture therapist. Boy, I can't believe how we let our bodies. Yeah, right. Exactly. We go back to the fetus position. We start to curl up as we get older.
Exactly.
And the things I've seen from them, be able to open up your shoulders, open up your body, and swing your arms when you're walking. It was amazing. The first treatment I got was a 2-hour treatment. And all you're going through is a series of exercises. It's unbelievable. The doctor, I can't think of the doctor's last name that wrote the book on pain-free.
Right.
But took people out of pain that had been in pain for 20, 30 years, even doctors and nurses and that were struggling with pain because of their occupation. It changed their lives. But I went through 2 hours of my first initial training with him, going through a series of, I would say, 8 to 10 exercises. And my whole body opened up in the first treatment.
And it's stayed that way, hasn't it? Because you've been doing your home exercises?
Yeah, I still do them, but I missed because of traveling and some other things.
Right.
But it's amazing what it does. And I can tell when I do one treatment by myself, I do it at home because now I do it through, when I go back down to Florida, I do it again. Otherwise, I do it through a Zoom call. And he's working me through it. And if I do it, it takes me about 30 minutes. And that will last me for at least 3 or 4 days, but I try to do it every day if I can. It just sets your whole muscle structure in a different position. And the whole thing is you have pain because your body is out of alignment.
Right. And you would never get that experience going to your family practice doctor, a traditional physical therapist.
No.
It's just not available in Western medicine.
Right.
I think if you're in Europe, it's available.
They take pictures of you, front, back, sides, right side, left side. And when he showed them to me, I said, "Is that me?"
Right.
My head's over here like this on the other side of the grid.
Right. No, I think that's just is a powerful story because we're not going to find these things as naturally in the U.S.
No.
We have to look for them. But they are out there.
Yeah.
I think even in these smaller communities in Wisconsin, I have patients who come from kind of all over northern Wisconsin, northern Michigan, and they have these little resources in their small communities.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be healers.
Right.
But like you said, there's a couple things to look out for when you're looking for these healers because they're not going to be as regulated. They're not going to be as highly licensed or trained. So that you're going to end up finding some people who maybe are in it for the wrong reason. Some healers do what they're doing because they're broken themselves. So they're trying to heal themselves. Some healers will, I would say, island themselves. I've had experiences with healers where they think that it's like a God complex.
Right.
They feel like they can do everything. They can fix your cancer. They can fix your, they're like, I will do everything and your cancer will be healed. So you have to be careful because health is a community, right? Wellness is a community.
Right, absolutely.
And so I think, just like you do what you do, I do what I do, your posture guy does what he does, and it's finding the right fit for you and then finding a couple people who do that.
Right. What I liked years ago, I traveled a lot through Europe, so I went through like 2 or 3 weeks of Well, it's actually a treatment of 2 or 3 weeks in Switzerland or Germany. Actually, the German government used to pay for 2 weeks for each one of their citizens
Oh my gosh.
to go through this because it kept them healthier and
Right,
happier.
right.
They didn't have the insurance problems and all the sickness and illnesses. And I would go for 3 weeks, and they would do all kinds of wonderful things: underwater therapy, underwater massages. They would trace your whole cardiovascular system with streams of water. It was amazing. When I walked out of there after 3 weeks, I didn't think my feet were on the ground. I think I was walking on the air.
Right.
It was so fantastic.
Right. So I think,
loved it.
That's the difference between our country and other countries is, the healthcare system is built on
Drugs.
And it's built
surgery.
on capitalism, and it makes it harder to do the things that maybe don't make as much money but are really wellness oriented.
Yeah. I have a very interesting, I have a new assistant. My other assistant left for another opportunity.
Right.
And I brought in a woman who I've known for a long, long time, and she's German.
Oh.
So she actually is a German chemist, German pharmacist.
Okay.
So she worked in the pharmacies in Germany, dispensing natural products.
Right,
She said, we never grew up in my family. Her mother and father just passed away this past year. I think at 198, both. I think the father was 100 and the mother was 98. They never had a drug in their house.
Right.
They never took a drug in their house. It was all natural remedies, honey, propolis, elderberry. They would make elderberry syrups and all those kind of things.
Right.
But look at what that does for the health of the individual.
Well, and the initial healer that I went to and his wife are, he's from Austria. She lived in Austria for a long time. So they're, the drug thing for them, they're just like, I remember when I first started going to them, I was on Prozac, I think, or Zoloft, one of the two.
Yeah.
This is a long time ago. And he would be like, why are you taking that? Like, you're obviously fine.
So foreign.
Why are you taking this? And obviously I had, you can't just go cold turkey off stuff. You have to you have to use a team approach and be reasonable about it. But those experiences can be mind blowing and life changing. Think about your posture. Even if in the 6 months, it's been about 4 months since you experienced that. 3 months.
Yeah, about 4 months.
Think about your level of pain and your level of comfort and the fluidity of which you move through your life now.
Right.
It's better, right?
Right. Well,
Amazing.
you know what? I did some things that were really not in my benefit. I lifted weights heavily when I was younger, tore my pectoral muscles, wrecked my shoulders, where right now the doctors have told me that I have bone on bone in both of my shoulders.
Right.
But yet I don't have any pain.
Incredible.
Because I'm doing things that are healthy.
Right.
Eating an anti-inflammatory diet.
Taking good supplements.
Very good supplements.
Right.
Pain relieving supplements.
Right.
They're all natural.
Yep.
Curcumin, boswellia, black sesame seed oil. I go to the posture therapist. I do things to make my body healthier.
Right.
So people out there that have pain, because it's a choice. You're eating diets that are pro-inflammatory. They're living a very fast lifestyle. They're burning the candle at both ends. They're drinking and smoking, and they have pain. Now they're taking drugs, and then they need more drugs, at higher levels of drugs, because they have more pain as they age. When you can reverse all that, if you do some good, healthy alternatives, and going to somebody like an acupuncturist or chiropractor or a homeopathic physician or naturopathic physician, they're all great.
Or a medical doctor.
Or a medical doctor.
I'm just kidding.
Or a medical doctor that has some sense and reasonable reasons of alternative therapy.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is
but
hard.
some doctors are not that beneficial.
Right. I would say it is hard to find a doctor who's even not. It's not even that they're just not willing to talk about alternative therapies, but it's just
I
not
find
even.
that are just closed.
They're just closed. It's like a brick. It's like there's not even a possible. It's not even a possibility.
I've seen doctors fire their patients because you don't listen to
they do all
me.
the time.
Yeah.
My patients get fired all the time from their doctors for doing what I tell them to do. And then they want me to be their primary doctor, and I'm like, I can't do that. It's hard.
Yeah.
And then they're left wondering, they're left like not knowing what to do.
Yeah. So what kind of things should we be looking at? Homeopathic?
Yeah, I would say I don't do a ton with homeopathy. Not that I'm opposed to it, but I'm not very well educated.
I believe in it.
I do believe in it.
But I'm not educated in it either.
Exactly. So I know that there are homeopathic practitioners in the greater Wisconsin area, greater Green Bay area, who do a great job, but that's not my first go-to. What I do with my patients is I can handle like the nutrition, so I can handle that part of things. I love energy healers. And when I talk about energy healers, I'm talking about a practitioner that knows how to tap into the meridians and the chakras, because that's where like traditional Chinese medicine lies. It's in people who know how to open up these channels, and I don't even know how to talk about it intelligently, but that's what I experienced when I did that. I think acupuncturists are energy healers. I think a good kinesiologist is an energy healer. I think Reiki practitioners can be good energy healers, and by whatever modality they're using, they're opening something, because all of us close with whatever happens in our lives. Like we close from trauma, we close from a bad diet, we close from stress. We just get, we get closed.
Yep.
And that inhibits our ability to do what we're supposed to do. And I struggle with this. I'm constantly trying to keep myself open, because I go back and forth. Life gets stressful or busy, or I don't sleep enough, and you become unproductive or not as open and expansive. So I hope I'm not getting too out there, but
no.
I think these practitioners can literally, they're like tools to help you stay that way.
I agree.
They are not going to do it 100% for you. So that's what I love about it, is you still have to have skin in the game, and you still have to be constantly also working on yourself with a healthy diet, regular exercise, meditation, prayer, time in nature. You have to be setting the stage.
Right.
But then life is hard, so they kind of can help soften those hard parts of life. Don't you think?
Yep. But most of these alternatives are very, very common practice in Europe, Asia, Malaysia, the UK. They're all wide open for it.
I know, and we think it's so weird. Some people I talk to about it are just, they roll their eyes. They're like, oh, there's Lynn going off into her hippy-dippy land again. But it's like...
Nice place to be.
I know, right. But I mean, in the U.S., it might seem weird to some people, but everywhere else in the world, it's just part of healing.
Right.
So, I think that's one of my major major goals and missions in my life, is to just normalize it.
Yeah. Should we wrap this up and kind of have a summary of, hey, look for who? Look for a good homeopathic physician.
Yep.
Someone who's well trained in it.
Yes.
And there are really some really very good medical doctors who are trained in homeopathy.
Yep.
There's acupuncturists, there's naturopathic doctors.
Yes.
And I hope in Wisconsin that someday we do have a licensing for naturopathic doctors.
I agree.
They work in a variety of conditions. Posture therapists, all kinds of things.
Kinesiologists.
Reiki therapists. Yep, I've used all of them. I like all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But make sure you have a good doctor, a good therapist, or a good physician, that they're licensed or they're trained, or their background, you know what they've gone through.
Right. And that you intuitively feel good about the situation.
Right.
I think that's really important.
You trust them. They're well trained.
Because you're kind of opening yourself to them. They're tapping into, you have to be open to be with, to do the work. And so if you can't be open, then it's just not worth it.
And the bottom line, you just have to like them.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
And you have to trust a little bit. You can't, some of this stuff, you can't conceptually wrap your brain around it.
Right.
You can't reason with it and be like, oh, this is how it's working. Like energy healing, you can't say, oh, this cell is doing this with this drug and this receptor. You have to just realize it's something you might not be able to comprehend.
Right.
So, and be okay with that.
Yep. So what are we going to do next time? Do you have an idea what we're going to do next time?
Good question.
How are we going to come back and help? Well, the sky's the limit, absolutely. There's all kinds of things to do, and we can do it over and over again because people forget.
And I think people should put in their requests, too, what they want to hear.
That'd be great.
Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would say if anyone can send what they want to hear from us,
Absolutely.
The two minds coming together, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, we could just chat about that all day.
Yeah. But welcome home.
Thank you very much, and it's always a great time to be with you.
You too.
Yeah,
you too. Thanks for making it happen.
Yeah, thank you.